Hello, everybody. We are back, the original two. It's weird after 2 years now deciding to bring it back like Lazarus from the grave. We tried to be on time. We actually set an earlier time, and StreamYard said it was too busy for us to start streaming.
Yep. StreamYard said, nope, not yet.
The weirdest thing. So they wanted to build hype up. So weird thing, randomly a couple weeks ago, I was like, Gambit, like let's go back. I kind of have the itch to do book club again, and just kind of be us making each other read again books that we kind of already have. And we did something that we didn't think about doing in the past. We set a schedule. So the third week of every month, we will have a time that week.
Yes.
This is written.
Yes.
I have it in form. We have agreed upon it. It is happening.
Yep.
It is now.
It is happening. The third week of every month. It's going to be the same every month. Well, not the same book, but same bad channel, same bad time.
Well, maybe not the same time. We'll see about
that. Yeah, exactly. It all depends. But yeah, we're here after 2 years. It's been a while.
We've been very busy. There's been a lot going on as well in general in the world and our personal lives and abroad. So I let Gambit have the first pick of our new Vol.2, I guess we'll call it, or reboot.
The second season.
Yeah, we had a long first season,
right.
But Gambit won. I gave him the choice to pick something, and he labored over it a little bit. He's about to sneeze, so
sorry. I'm about to, for some reason, because I've been doing fine all day, but now I want to sneeze. Well, you suggested the Energon universe from Image, the new Energon. That's the name.
Energon universe, yeah.
So it's like shit, yeah, because I already read the first 2 volumes of Transformers and Cobra Commander, but I picked the Cobra Commander one because it's the first one that I read. So maybe the next time we revisit this series again, we'll choose maybe the Transformer ones and see and compare them. I don't know in which order they were published. I'm just
Cobra Commander. It was Void Rivals started the universe.
Oh yes, that's right.
Transformers, Cobra Commander, then G.I. Joe or Destro. I'm not sure what order it came in.
I think Destro came first, which I thought was really odd that we were getting these character titles instead of, like usually you get G.I. Joe, and then from G.I. Joe you get all the other spin-offs, if any.
So I have to give them credit for not all of a sudden dropping like Snake Eyes right off the bat.
Yeah, so, I think the way they are approaching it is very streamlined and doesn't feel like it has the weight of 40 years of backstories and toys and cartoons and a bunch of stuff.
Yes and no.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, I mean, you're familiar with you're familiar with these characters. So if you're familiar enough with these characters, and the reason I say it is because I like G.I. Joe. I grew up with G.I. Joes, but I never read a G.I. Joe comic until the IDW had the franchise. Early 2000s, and I read like maybe 20-25 issues. I think it was maybe less. So it's not like I am a hardcore G.I. Joe fan. I just remember some of the cartoon episodes and a bunch of the toys that I had, and I have a deep sense of love for these characters, but not in the sense that I know everything about these characters. So I can say that I'm just familiar with these characters, and the book did not feel like I needed to. These books have not felt like I needed to have read the massive collection of G.I. Joe comics that are before.
So I like that they kind of like the original Marvel rollout. Every one of the new series introduce somebody for the next series. So Void Rivals introduced Transformers. Transformers introduced Duke. Then
That's true. Yeah.
Cobra Commander came out. Cobra Commander then led into Destro. Destro led into Scarlet. Then we got G.I. Joe. The Scarlet series I forgot about was really good because that introduced all ninjas. So we got Storm, Shadow, Jinx.
I haven't read that one. I was surprised when I saw Megatron in this book. By the way, this is the book that we're talking about. We're talking about Cobra Commander Vol.1 by Joshua Williamson, Andrea Milana, and Annalise Leoni. Oh shit!
The colorist or letterer?
I'm trying to read. Let me go inside and read them from the inside. Yeah, Leoni, colorist, and the letterer is Russ.
Wooten.
And I hope I'm not destroying this. It's Wooten, right?
Yes. So we were talking before this came on, and then when they first announced Robert Kirkman was getting the rights to all of the Hasbro toys, basically. And then it was like, yeah, it's Robert Kirkman. And then he's got Joshua Williamson, who I'm a huge fan of his Flash run, Nailbiter, Ghosted. He's done a lot of books I loved. And then I was like, and then Daniel Warren Johnson from Beta Ray Bill, Wonder Woman Dead Earth, do a Powerbomb.
Yeah.
He's going to be doing Transformers. And I was like, fuck, all right, I'm in.
Son of a bitch, I'm in.
And then they're like, by the way, Dan Waters, who does all those creepy horror books for Image, yeah, he's doing Destro. And I'm like,
oh, shit.
All right, like, I'm in. And then Kelly Thompson was doing the Scarlet series. And oh, by the way, the G.I. Joe series is coming out, and Josh Williamson's writing that too, with Tom Riley doing art. And my immediate thought was, this could go real wrong real quick.
Real quick. Yes.
Because you can piss a lot of people, because there's people who are hardcore about these comics and these IPs.
These characters, yeah.
And right off the bat, Transformers, I was like, all right, they're bringing stuff into this that was in the UK series of Transformers. So they're borrowing from left and right from everything.
So
I good idea.
I recently watched the first episode of the Transformers animation cartoons from the 80s because I haven't watched that since I was a kid, and I decided to put it on. So, let me give it a rewatch to see, and I was surprised about how much the comic takes from that first episode. Like so much. It's like, oh my god, this is the comic is actually very close to that first episode, which surprised me. Like because like what you said, this could go wrong really fast. And I honestly wasn't expecting to enjoy these books. I am not going to lie. I was actually staying away from them. Someone said, no, you need to read them. You need to read at least one of them, give it a chance, and you'll see. And
the book I thought I was gonna hate out of this whole Energon universe, Void Rivals, is possibly one of my favorites.
So I didn't even know that it was a Transformers book. I had no idea.
It came out in the last page of the book. They're like, by the way, his Transformer body. It's like,
wait a minute.
What?
So I didn't even know it was that until someone said something later. And they say, no, you need to check it out. I said, okay, fine. So I'll check them out. And I've been honestly, I was surprised at how actually good they were,
And Cobra Commander, it was a book that I was like, starting out with the villain, that's really interesting. Because I was like, but probably he's, besides Snake Eyes, he's probably one of the biggest characters of the series. People love Cobra Commander. And they borrowed from the animated cartoon, the whole Cobra Law thing, from G.I. Joe, the movie, or the motion picture.
Yes. Yep.
The animated.
The animated movie.
They also introduced Sergeant Slaughter into the G.I. Joe universe in that movie. And Larry Hama refused to put it in the comic books he was writing at the time because he thought it was stupid.
I did not know that.
So in the comic books, Cobra Commander was actually a car salesman from Springfield, Ohio, who became right wing and decided to
dominate the
cause
world.
an uprising. He started this little militant right wing army in Springfield, Ohio, and then became this like world organization. This one, not so much. That he was a scientist that was in Cobra Law, or as they say in the cartoon, Cobra la.
But to be fair, we don't know much of his previous life before he was down there.
We know he was an outsider.
Yes, we know that he was a human, that he was found. He could very, very well be a car salesman that was beaten to a pulp and left for dead somewhere because something happened, and he was dragged down there and he was healed, and then he did the atrocities that he did, all the experiments that led them doing the things that were so far away from their customs and stuff that made them get angry at him. And
yes, because they hate technology. Everything's organic there,
which I thought was pretty cool.
Yes, anything metal. And right off the bat, you learn even they think he's a dick. And the intro of this book felt like something that would have been right out of Nailbiter.
Yeah.
The first couple of pages, he's at a truck stop, no man's land, and he shows up. He's wearing a fedora and a blue petticoat.
Let me tell you,
like,
his fashion sense is. He knows how to dress. I give him that.
Evil Dick Tracy.
Evil Dick Tracy.
Little bit. But he's like, I need a vehicle. I'll take the one out there. And guy out there is like, gives him some shit.
To be fair, he tried to be polite about it. He tried to be polite about it. The dude was a dick. So, not saying that he did what he did was right, but the dude was a dick. So
one of the panels I adore is at the very bottom. The blood forms the Cobra symbol. That is something I love, the symbolism. And again, that's straight out of Nailbiter. Yeah. This is stuff that would have been a Nailbiter. And Josh Williamson knows how to set a scene. And something Gambit and I talked about before the show started. This book manages to move quickly. It's very frenetic and kinetic in how it moves, but it will dump a ton of information and character moments on you, but you don't notice because it moves so fast.
And not feel over, like I said, and not overwhelming you. Like it is really good at world building, giving you a lot, like you said, a ton of information without making you feel like, oh my God, I'm reading like an essay here. It moves, it reads really fast, which surprised me. I read it 2 times. I read it the first time that I got it, and I read it today before we started, a few hours before we started, so that it was fresh in my head.
And world building, the art,
that is really cool. That is
everything's
really cool.
Bioorganic,
which I really like how loose and tight the art is. Like, it's really loose, but at the same time, it's really tight. It's really clean. I don't know how else to explain it, and it helps the pace of the book. It
shout out to the colorist making those pages pop.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, it's not just the penciler. It's a group effort. It makes everything feel more complete. Everything works with the color, works with the art, and the art is moving with the story. I'm sorry, I blanked out there for a second with what I was trying to say. Anyways, yes.
The art and the story work in unison to move it along.
Suddenly I forgot how to English.
So my boss is from Chile, and sometimes she'll be talking in English and all of a sudden pop into Spanish and not realize she's doing it. And it's usually when she's getting frustrated, and it kind of makes it because how her brain can flip languages like that.
Right? Yeah, it's usually when you're frustrated that it comes really easy. You're not thinking about it.
But Cobra Commander, right away after that scene, he has led a scientist uprising in Cobra Law, where basically they know he's doing something he shouldn't be.
Yes.
He brought what they call an abomination. We don't know what it is. They don't like it. They want it gone. And Globulus is the ruler of that world down there. He has a giant snake tail, this organic monocle that's over one eye that also, like, it's hard to explain. It's an interesting look. And his voice in the animated cartoon was done by oh my god, the actor who played the oh god, he played the penguin in
it's right there.
Right there. He played the penguin in the old Batman 68-9 live.
Oh, I don't know his name.
Burgess.
I am looking it up right now. G.I. Joe, the movie.
It was a huge actor, and Don Johnson was in that one playing Flint. I know.
Really? Oh my god! You know,
yes.
I haven't seen this movie. I think since the first time I saw it, I've never revisited these cartoons because I feel like I think I was a little bit disappointed with when I revisited Masters of the Universe because it was so different.
Burgess Meredith.
There you go. It was so different to what I remember as a child that I was like, no, I don't want to go and revisit these old cartoons because it's just some of them don't age well. So I just prefer to not go back and see them because I don't want to ruin what I had. The memories that I had about it. But I started watching the Transformers the other day, and then it gave me an ad for Mask, and I said, I'm going to watch that. And Mask and Transformers, surprisingly, are exactly what I remember about them.
Mask was fun.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, as someone who's started rewatching some of the stuff in your childhood memories, as an artist, do you prefer the chrome-faced Cobra Commander, or do you like the hood?
Oh man. So I prefer the hood, but I see the value. Like
as an artist with the reflections you can play off of the chrome.
Yes, I actually like both equally. I like both equally. I prefer, now I can say equally if I prefer the hood one. I prefer the hood one. Something about the hood one, it feels menacing, but
it's
but the
kind
helmet
of down to earth too.
Yes.
Now, as someone who's not human, the chrome thing makes sense, I guess, or he's disfigured. Yeah. We'll get to that.
I like that the chrome helps hide any sort of expression. You won't be able to read him ever. He strikes me like the type of character that would always be very straight and won't give much away in terms of what he's thinking with body language either. Like he will always be I've always seen him as like a very militant character, even though.
And I think that was the interesting thing. We had two of the main actually all of the main villains, you didn't see their face. Snake Eyes, well, not Snake Eyes, but Storm Shadow, didn't see his face. Destro wore a metal mask.
Yeah, but you're seeing you're seeing a face with Destro.
You are, but it's still, they made it move with him when he talked.
Yeah,
but if it was like a real man in the metal mask, you wouldn't.
Yeah, it would be expressionless.
Yeah. And I think that's interesting that they chose the kind of expressionless villains. Because you could do a lot more with Menace because you don't know what's going on. It's all in the eyes.
I've never actually given much thought about these characters, these main villains being all, basically, except for I can again argue that Destro has a face, but that they're practically faceless.
Also, it made it easier on the toys to distinguish between the heroes and the villains.
Yeah, exactly. That's true. We we like to think about, it was, they would think about all of these things before they make these decisions, and chances are that most of this decision was like, yeah, that's easier to produce, that's easier to tell which is good and which is bad. It just comes to something very, very simple solutions.
Selling toys.
Yes.
And we learn early in this that Cobra Commander, even his best laid plans, there's always a fuck up in his plans. And this one of his female scientists is holding a grenade. He's like, throw it. She's like, huh? Boom.
And she's gonna say, should I throw this too? And she's like, you imbecile.
Yeah, he's like, you fool. And it's a massive explosion that like blows his armor up.
Yes, this is when he gets all disfigured, like fully disfigured. I'm assuming that he was already wearing a similar helmet.
But I think that was to hide that he was a human, because they kind of said that he was an outsider. But the way they do medicine, this bioorganic.
Yeah, I like that. I like how they work around that thing. I don't understand.
Snakes hitting him with venom.
I don't understand how they are making this thing happening, but I understand what is happening. I don't need to understand that science. I just saw it and I understood what is happening. Yeah, it's all organic.
And then he's like in bandages, and one of his eyes, I think, was damaged. They substituted a snake eye right above where his normal eye would have been. And he's like staring at the side, his helmet, a new chrome helmet sitting there, the one we all know. And the lady walks in, Pythona, and she's like, put it on, hide your shame.
Hide your shame, which is, I'm assuming that is a disfigurement,
Yeah.
It could be that he's just human too, Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, of course. And then he's got his, dress coat on and looks like he's ready to go march on Washington.
Right? I like that.
He walks in
immediately in uniform, immediately.
In this pure menace picture.
Right? That is a really, really cool panel.
Yes. And again, like, this is almost the whole first issue, and it feels like it's only like 3 minutes. And he's in there. Numerous science officers died while trying to harvest from this specimen, and yet you lived. You managed to not only interrogate it, but also find uses for its blasphemous technology. So this is why they're really pissed at him.
So
they worship only the organic, the gifts, and the flesh, and their natural order of life is what they worship.
When I read this, I already knew that these books were all connected. So at this point, when he started, when he starts talking in that panel, I sort of had an idea of that they were referring to a transformer of some sort.
Something.
Yes, that was going to be somehow connected to Transformers. Which, let me tell you, that having these characters, together, it's I think everyone from that grew up with these characters, it's a dream come true, to have these characters. And we've seen it before, we've seen a crossover before. We had,
but not with this kind of storytelling.
But not this kind of storytelling, and making it make sense, making it work together and make sense.
Sorry, there's someone at my door, and I'm trying to see what they are doing. Yeah, it's a very weird thing. And after this page, these infantrymen come out, basically, and they're in this organic armor with these giant sickles. It's kind of metal looking.
Yeah.
And basically, Galabios is like, I know you instigated the riots. I will not tolerate your betrayal. I healed you because I wanted to watch you die with my own eyes.
That's some badass shit right there.
they start swinging at him. He pulls out of the way, and they pulls from his coat these two little insect things, and he throws them at them, and they start chewing on their bodies.
Yeah. He was ready. He knew what was coming. He knew what was coming, which is interesting because, like I said, the cartoons, it's sort of portrayed as a joke, as that always fails.
Yes.
So seeing him like, no, I'm ready for this. He's not just someone who hides behind an army or hides behind Destro.
They're literally eating them.
Yeah. He's not someone that he's not. If he needs to get his hands dirty, he will get his hands dirty. Which is
yes and no, because he still won't technically get his hands dirty, but he's using things. And then he's like kind of the scumbag. He's like, listen, to further your control of the world and give you what you want, you must trust me. I'll prove you my undying loyalty to you and Cobra. But to do all these things, you must give me a new title, and I got to leave here for a special mission in the outside world. My fate and the fate of Cobra Law is in your hands now, my lord. Like Littlefinger from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, he's really good at talking his way out of things.
Be right back. Sorry.
Well, he comes back. I can't show you the. Let me see if I can show you what I'm drawing. Let me see if I know how this thing works. No, I think he has to accept it.
Oh, yeah, I do. Sorry. Hold on. Someone trying to sell me windows and doors.
What? Yeah. Go away, people. Go away. We're busy.
Is that a figurine or is that a statue? I can't tell.
It's a statue.
Ah.
Yeah. Now that I see it on the other screen, I see he's like tilted.
Yeah. And you're
all right, back to the book.
Procreate or?
Yeah, this is Procreate. That's mostly what if it's not on paper with traditional media, it's Procreate. It's easy. I can take this everywhere.
I'm still doing some digital coloring.
Yeah.
Procreate. I'm having fun with now that I have a Pro. I've got the M4 Pro 13-inch. It makes drawing a lot easier. It's just a little tricky to get used to the pencil at first.
Really?
And also importing the colors. Yeah, so when you're doing the fine coloring, to find the right nib sensitivity to get in there. That was like the only thing in learning how much pressure and how deep
so
the color
we can whenever you have a chance, whenever you're off, you can stop by the studio and we can sit down and I can teach you everything that I've learned so far with it. I know a lot of tips and tricks that I can give you.
I feel trial and error at this point has been the easiest, like knowing how
that's how I learned.
So the big reveal happens after that page.
Yes.
This giant multi-doored vault. And he walks in and he's a baller. He's like, you probably hoped I was dead. And he right away goes, too bad.
Yeah. This two page spread is
let me focus.
There it is. Ta-da.
And it says so much with so little.
Yeah. With this page and his dialogue, you can tell already that he's been toying with him for a long time already. And when I say toying, I mean experimenting, poking, probing, touching, pulling.
So in one of the current books, by the time Megatron gets loose, he's missing an arm, he's missing his eyes.
Both of them?
Yeah, he was missing both of them. He took Laserbeak, found him, and ripped wires out of him, plugged him into his eyes so he could see. Like, it's so.
I'm not that up to date with the Transformer. I just recently read the second volume.
These are books that shouldn't fucking work.
Hey, they're
Like
working.
it's
They've been
crazy.
entertaining.
But when you have enough good creators and you have someone who can set a guideline for how they should work, which Kirkman apparently is the godfather of it. He gets to
He's
tell
the
his
one in
little,
charge of this, right?
yeah, he gets to tell his little Romeo and Juliet Void Rivals story that just happens to have Transformers in it. Which
I've only read the
also,
first volume of that.
it also fucking references the Transformers movie.
Really?
Left and right in that fucking series. There's characters from Transformers the movie, and then showed up in the British Transformers UK series.
Yeah. And that's on Void Rivals?
Yes. It gets better as it went on. Like the first issue, I was like, fuck this book.
Yeah, I read the first volume. And I enjoy it.
First issue I didn't like, and then every issue after that I was like, all right, you got me. I'm in. And we see a little bit of the Cybertronian torture.
Yeah.
Electrocuting him. And it's such an interesting book, and they sent someone else from Cobra Law with him who is dressed like a trucker. And
yeah.
It's easy very early on going, this guy hates him. Hates that he has to do this. And he's like, you need to take a disguise on. He's like, I want all the attention. I don't care. I want the imbeciles to reveal themselves to me as we make our way through the world.
Yeah,
we have a journey ahead of us, and by the time we are done, the world will fear the name of Cobra Commander. And then we shift to...
Yeah. I really like that hat. I'm just saying, I really like that. I like that whole outfit.
And then one page is out with a door in, looks like the bayou, that says Dreadnoks.
Yeah.
Everything teases and teases and teases. And we go right into the Dreadnoks in the next issue. We see the Thunder Machine. They're literally taking a chainsaw to a guy in the beginning. They cutting people up. Again, this is another
torturing some smugglers.
This is another one of those, like, would have been a page right out of it felt like a page that would have been in Nailbiter. Yes.
Yeah, that was a really cool page, and the spread that came after that, you have the Thunder Machine,
yes,
went like vroom, really big. Yeah. So one of the first the first time that I went to Dragon Con in Atlanta, I was dressed up as Zanzibar, and I was in a Dreadnought group on the parade, and they had a replica of the Thunder Machine driving the parade. That was really cool.
There's a fair going on, and this kid's sticking his tongue out of Cobra Commander, and he starts like taking his hand out like he's gonna choke him, and his guy goes, Don't do it. And Cobra Commander is like, I hate it here.
Oh my god, yes, but I don't blame him, you know.
They do a flash. Oh, go ahead.
And the chaos on those pages, and I say chaos, I mean like the crowd, you know. You can feel how uncomfortable that crowd was, you know.
And then it has a flashback of his caretaker from Cobra Law, and they're basically saying, we're going to send you with them, but you cannot go as you are. There must be changes, and they throw this bioorganic thing over him that basically made his disguise, and it's got all these fucking teeth on it.
Here's a really Lovecraftian weird thing that changed his appearance, makes him look like a regular human person. That I'm pretty sure by his expression that he is not happy with the fact that he has to look like a human.
Nope, not at all. And we get an idea of that he's kind of strong. And the park ranger comes over. He's like, howdy, guys. First thing, this part of the Glades is not for tourists, especially someone dressed like you. Kindly ask that you remove your mask and show me ID. He goes, see what I mean? World of fools. The guy's like, I try to play nice. I need to see identification. Cobra Commander's like, all right, you're here to protect me. Protect me. Guy throws his hat off and getting shot in the chest. It's not bothering him. And he headbutts the guy's brains out.
He not only his brains out, he rips his arms off too.
Yes. And again, this is a hyper violence we have not seen in a G.I. Joe book.
Which, I think in any G.I. Joe product.
Nothing like this. I mean, yeah, people get shot. Like, there's people cut, but like not their arms and brains exploded. And Cobra Commander gets loose. He's like, finally.
Yeah, I like that he used it. He did not hesitate in this appearance. Like, okay, do your thing, and he just bolted. Like, nope, I'm out. Which is stupid, and we learned that it's a stupid decision that he makes because later on, it puts him in a position that he shouldn't have been put in. Like he could have avoided, but at the same time, it ended up working in his favor.
He walks into the shack. There's body parts hanging everywhere, and he's like, well, I guess I'm not alone in experimenting with this energy, but this is not the source of it. And then the Thunder Machine comes up, and he's sitting outside. He's like, they're like, he's like, the Pete Thunder, Dreadnoks are like, you got to pay the toll starting with that shiny mask. He's like, I got something better in mind. And he pulls a gun out and starts shooting them.
Yeah. It's like I said earlier, he technically doesn't get his hands dirty, but he's not afraid to getting into it if he has to.
And then he falls into the swamp, and there's these techno-organic crocodiles or gators in there, and interesting looking. Like they have the glowing eyes, like Energon's affected them.
Yes.
And then that ends issue 2. Issue 3.
This is a really beautiful page.
Yes.
The colors in this book, it's so pretty. It is a really pretty book to look at,
I'm glad they didn't do them muted.
Yeah.
The next one where the guy's running through, he's like, where are you? You turned off your tracker, you waste of flesh. Never should trust you. And the python jumps at him and he rips it in fucking half.
I mean, we already established that he's super strong. So I did like the clubhouse for the Dreadnoughts though.
Oh yeah,
it does look like a clubhouse.
Like literally, it looks like someone was watching Sons of Anarchy. It was like, let's make something scummier,
right? I like that. I like how neon it looks. It had this magenta and these purples, the color scheme that was used. It makes it give it the like, I'm inside this club that has a bunch of LED lights that are those colors. Even though you don't actually see a bunch of those lights, it gives you that atmosphere that it's dark and it's hot and it's like that.
So seeing this clubhouse, it reminded me of an episode of G.I. Joe that was one of the dumbest episodes I've ever watched, where Zartan and the Dreadnoks decide they're going to become a hair metal band. And they were going to have hypnotic lyrics, because this is during that whole thing with the when they thought that the metal was leading kids into killing themselves.
Yeah.
So they were
going the 80s.
Yes, they had a band called Cold Slither. And they made a music video. It's like, we're Cold Slither, and you'll be joining us soon. And you can look it up. You can look it up on YouTube. They basically look like I'm gonna throw a weird band out there right now. Probably Winger.
Oh my God.
Somewhere between Winger and Rat is how they're dressed.
Okay, so basically like any other 80s metal band.
But with G.I. Joe villains.
Yeah.
Zartan was the lead singer. And
I need to look this up.
He looks somewhere between Ozzy Osbourne and maybe a little Dave Mustaine with the outfit they gave him. I'm gonna
look this up. I cannot.
There's a metal version remake of that song someone did that I found on Instagram when I was looking for that song to try and put onto the thumb.
Oh my God, no, stop it. Why did I do not remember this? Wow.
Like, you know how that stuff gets like near the middle of the season, so they're just doing filler?
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's...
This is wild. I do not remember this, but I will make some art out of this thing because this shit needs to be seen.
Hold on.
Oh, wait. What did I do? Damn it.
Oh,
I hit something and fucked it up. Yeah, there it is.
Guys.
Jesus Christ.
The episode is ridiculous in general. There's been a lot of dumb things, and while you're looking that up, you might find the comedy stuff people made out of the old PSAs that used to be on the G.I. Joe.
Oh, yeah, I've seen those. Yeah, I've seen those. Those are hilarious. Always. They're always hilarious.
Where the kid's like, I'm going to go take this fork and put it into the plug. He's like, well, I'll be doing your mom at the funeral, kid. Good luck.
Yeah, I remember those PSA. They were funny. They were funny back then. They're funny now.
The Dreadnoks take Cobra Commander prisoner. They fished him out of the swamp, and his helmet's gone. So we get a good look of like how it covers kind of everything from the back to the front. And just like Dr. Doom, he has booby traps, basically, if you try to get his helmet off.
Yeah, it's not like Darth Vader's helmet that you take the top part and it's just another bottom part. This thing is like a whole thing that covers him, and then they put the helmet on top of it, which I thought.
And then they made a mistake. They tried to demean him.
Right.
By taking blood and making a smiley face.
I think that was a great look. That made it scary.
It was menacing.
That made it scary.
Especially when he gets loose.
Exactly.
And then Cobra Commander starts doing like psychological warfare with them of like, did you hear what they said about you? They don't respect you. You should fight them. And he's like, because he's like, you act extra tough to prove you belong, but they said you're not blood like the rest of them. And Ripper's like, I'll show him who's a poser. And they start brawling. And, Cobra Commander's like, oh, are you afraid of losing control? Aw.
It's funny how in the little time that he was there while he was being tortured, he was good about picking up what's happening in between them, and use that immediately to manipulate them. He's a really smart, he's a really smart dude.
Then we have a mix of body horror thrown in.
Because why not?
So his handler gets cut with a chainsaw, and he's like, you know what? Fuck this, and rips all of it off him, and it looks very painful. And we get a character from G.I. Joe the movie, Nemesis Enforcer, with those big-ass... Hell of a spread page, too.
Yes. Oh, yeah. This is one of my favorite pages from this book.
And while they're getting destroyed, this is everything.
Isn't it scary just to see that? You don't need. I like that whole page has no dialogue, only just just effects. just sound effects.
Onomatopoeia.
Yeah, and you get everything that you need to get from that scene. You don't need to see anything else, but you know what happened.
Yep. And Nemesis Enforcer's just ripping them apart. And early on, because I'd watched that old cartoon, I was like, is that Nemesis Enforcer? Because this guy's fucking huge, super strong. But I was like, he's got big ass wings. And then that shit ripped off him. I was like, oh, there's the big ass wings.
Yep, there it is. he had them hidden somewhere.
They go down a hole and he finds this doctor down there who's been experimenting with Energon. And a really interesting detail for a prisoner, he's got super long nails. That is a weird detail to add in that I was like, wow, I don't think a lot of books would have done that. It's a weird detail to add in. But he's typing and you see these long ass nails. But he's figured out how to make the Energon kind of with radiation rebuild it.
Yeah.
And he makes the little robot bugs come to life again.
And supercharge him.
Cobra Commander's like, yeah, you need a bigger lab, dude.
And I had not noticed the long nails on the scientist until you mentioned it, and now
I just noticed it now. And then how Cobra Commander gives no fucks. He's just like, yeah, move. What are you doing, imbecile?
Yeah. He's like, he doesn't feel threatened by him at all, you know?
And then he was like, your mission's over. I no longer follow your orders. He's like, what are you? I see. You were never here to help with my mission. You're here to kill me. He's like, yeah. You're pathetic.
You got it. That's exactly what I'm here for.
Cobra Commander got his hands dirty and he got his helmet ripped off.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
You don't see much. And again, they just show his bandages. You don't see
anything. Yeah, you basically don't see anything, just his bandages.
But he basically gets a Mortal Kombat fatality done to him where he gets taken up into the air.
Yeah.
And then slammed down. He's like, I'm not just going to lay down and die. And he's like, then run, human, run.
I like that he does it. You know, he gets his little robot insect and makes them into an Iron Man, you know.
But also,
gauntlet.
he cut his wrist to get it to come out. So he had them actually hiding in his body.
Oh, shit. Is that what he's doing there?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Oh, yes.
Yeah, it's... Huh. He slices open his wrist and they come out and he's got an Iron Man gauntlet basically from Energon.
Yep. And blast the shit out of the...
And then we find out we tease Destro.
We don't tease Destro. We show Destro.
Well, we show him, but they're like, there's a bloke. He's got a whole company, biggest in the world.
Yeah. When we get introduced to Mercer, that was one of my favorite characters.
Mercer was one that they kind of
just excited for Spooky Empire. Sorry,
they kind of threw him out there. Like it was one of those like he came with Destro's Iron Grenadier toy set, and I hate myself that I know that because he wasn't really in the cartoon barely at all.
No, he was in the movie. And he was in a 3 package with 2 other dudes, and he was the 3 mercenaries or something like that they were called. And he was a bald head dude with a red beard. It was Mercer, and then there was another character, which I legit the only name that I remember is Mercer. Yeah, and he was supposed to be a former Viper or something like that.
Oh wait, okay, yeah, he was part of Sergeant Slaughter's Marauders.
Yeah, something. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think in the movie they show up. They're training the new characters in the movie.
Yes, Jinx, Flint.
Yep, and what is the Tunnel Rat?
Not Crazy Legs. Tunnel Rat. Yeah.
Crazy Legs was the.
I forget what he was. It was like and there was another guy who was
a pilot, right?
No, there was also another guy who, oh god, he wore a Hawaiian shirt, and it was like
Oh
a
yeah.
Miami Vice look. Oof.
I know who you're talking about. I don't
And I
remember his
love
name.
Destro has the shirt button up halfway with the big medallion.
Giant
I
movie.
love
Yeah,
the
he has this. He
commitment.
has this sort of uh, Scarface look to him, you know.
Yeah, a little bit.
But instead of a white suit, it's a red suit, which I figure is a
Cobra
very
Commander
expensive
pops
red
into
suit.
town, kills all his people in front of him. There's blood splattering all over Destro's mask. He's just like,
So
what's going on?
so at this point, you know, I feel like not feel. I think that, you know, we have some time has passed between the last time, you know, we get we get introduced between this scene and when he gets to and Destro gets to the town, because he had the time to make the town full of booby traps and have it ready for Destro's arrival.
I'd say it was probably a month.
Yeah, I'm guessing that with the
Minimum.
energon thing, he had the ability to, you know, prep what he needed to do because he has transformative
And then, yeah, just
properties.
showing him his lab and then shows him the bat robots that are running on energon, but they're
Yeah,
they kind of kill their own men.
which but he doesn't care about them. He's like, there's more that came from. That was one of my favorite toys too when I was growing up. The bat, the robot. I thought that was such a cool character, and you could change the hands. You could change it.
Yep.
I still have one of the most recent versions here.
There came out with one G.I. Joe classified series, I think.
Man, why didn't make the drawing of that character instead of Cobra Commander? Oh well. Now I'm thinking like,
then,
man, I want to draw him.
Cobra Commander's Pimp Daddy outfit.
Yes, the red cape, black and red.
I love that he goes from I'm a humble scientist to yeah, nah, I'm gonna take over the world.
Right. I mean, at this point, he has the knowledge to. One of the things that I like is that usually you get scientists and scientists stay, they're in the lab, they stay away. Oh, I'm the scientist. Somebody else has the ambition. Let me do my science thing. No, he wants to do his science thing, but he realized, like, I can do this. I can take over the world. I can fucking make it better, and I'm gonna do that, which is, I think, super cool that they did it that way. It's not just someone that they didn't make him a scientist and be like I said, just a scientist that's in the background. He knows that with what the knowledge that he has, he knows the things that he can accomplish, and he set out to do it.
And then they do something they show, don't tell, or they tell, don't show, I should say, actually, where go back to Cobra Law at the end, and it's fucking trashed.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, Pythona, guess what? You're going to space. Fuck them. We're coming.
Yeah, because at this point they know that whatever creature they had, that abomination that Cobra Commander was making experiments with there is not just from the outside world, which would be Earth. It's from deep space. Now they know that it's bigger than what they had anticipated. So now it's like, okay, so if this is what's coming, then let's go meet it over there before they get here, and
they do a thing here because we don't see what happened until I think in one of the Transformers issues.
Oh yeah,
or it might have been, I think it was Transformers. It was Void Rivals seeing Megatron break out, and then
I have a lot of catching up.
It takes, I think, 6 issues of Void Rivals or 8 issues for Pythona's group to show up in that book.
Oh wow! So we catch up with these characters later.
Yeah, they in the last, I think, 6 issues of Void Rivals, they show up.
What?
That just happened. Yeah, like the crossover ability of these. And again, we're not seeing what happened. We just know something happened, and
We just know that something happened. Yeah.
And if I recall, in the flashback they show in another book, Globulus went fucking head to head with Megatron.
Wow! Oh my god!
Just to show how actually like strong he is.
Just to show that he can do it.
Yes. Because at full extension, he's almost like 10 feet tall. And they have these giant fucking abominations that they ride down there.
I need to catch up on my reading. I'm too far behind now. That's too
like
much.
If you're an artist who loves like biomechanical organic shit,
yes,
this is the fucking book to do. Like I would 100% read a book just on Cobra Law. If you kept this artist and that ink, the penciler on the colorist on that, I would nonstop. So the Duke series also, I forgot there was a Duke series, was also kind of good with him kind of dealing with wanting revenge.
Yeah. But
to understand why, you have to read Transformers.
You have to read Transformer, yes, of course. And that's something that I really like about the Transformer one was how subtle it was. Like that one panel that you only see the name tag.
Yes.
That's like, oh shit.
Abernathy.
Yeah, he's like, oh shit, that's the G.I. Joes. Damn.
And if you're not in the know of it, you don't realize it. Because I remember going, Clayton Abernathy. Oh my God, Duke.
Yeah. That's familiar.
Again, like that's the childhood nerddom. I was like, oh my God, holy shit. I was like, why is this working?
Right. It's like, why is this working?
So this was, like I said, like this is a book that took me by surprise because there was at least a minimum 20 variants of issue 1.
Really?
Everybody had an exclusive variant.
Yeah.
There were some really good ones. What I used in the thumbnail was the David Mack one.
Yeah. That is something that pushes me. That is something that pushes me away from a book. Not going to lie. When a book when they put so many variants to an issue, it's like I lose interest because I feel like it's a way to get people to buy the book.
I understand like wanting for a number 1 issue to try and put as many eyes on the book.
Of course.
I get it to a degree, and it's a huge property. Something I've noticed lately is Image is kind of becoming infamous for this, sending out exclusive variants to Instagram influencers for them to shill for them. And I see that, and unfortunately, it's been friends of mine who have had that opportunity. And I'm like, oh, they don't feel strong about that book if they're doing this.
Yeah, that's exactly how it feels.
And I read one of the books that one of my friends got one of the exclusive for. I was like, I like the creators. I don't like this book.
That's
if I can't get behind any of the main characters. Not good.
Yeah. Nothing got you from it.
No. So I think I gave this a solid 4 out of 5. Like this book was entertaining as fuck.
Oh yeah, this book from the beginning to the end was super entertaining. Oh my God, I missed all of these comments in the comment section. Sorry guys, my bad. I didn't read any of them. The book is I think it's fast paced, it's entertaining, it's beautiful to look at. It's like the combination of everything works perfectly with this book, and
it's almost a horror book. It's damn close to a horror sci-fi book.
It's a little bit more gory than I was expecting, honestly.
Yeah,
it's a little bit more gory than I was expecting. But same thing happened when I read Transformers. I approached this book. I wasn't expecting much of them. I was what are they going to do with these characters now, and make it not feel like they're just trying to, you know, stretch it as long as they can. But no, I was, like I said, surprised that it has been entertaining, all of them. Well, at least the ones that I've read, which is
Yeah.
Transformers, Void Rivals, and Cobra Commander. I haven't read Duke or Destro or the other one.
And a lot of them I bought because, like, well, I like the writer, so I'm going to give it a chance. But this is the one I had the least faith in, even though a writer I
Yeah,
liked was writing, because I was like, this one can go really bad, especially if they're using basically Cobra Commander being car salesman Elon Musk. Like, I didn't know how that was going to go.
I think what they did is really good. I think what they did now is really good. Again, we don't know about his past life before Cobra La, so maybe he's still a car salesman.
And the thing that impresses me most, we have not seen Snake Eyes. They have not. For them to resist using Snake Eyes,
Which
so
is
far, it's impressive.
Which is something that is a character that a lot of people want to see, me included. But at the same time, I'm honestly, this happens with a lot of properties. They stick to this one popular character because that this is the character that sells, and this is all we get. This character everywhere, every time. Let's just keep doing more of this, more of it. It's like there's a lot more, and you can do good things with all of the other characters. You don't have to always rely on that name, and that draw just because it's a short way to sell. Because you put Snake Eyes in a book, no matter how okay you write it, it's going to sell because it's Snake Eyes.
Well, they also in the book got rid of him, and they introduced a Latina Snake Eyes, Don Moreno.
What?
Yeah,
I did not know. But again, I'm not that up to date with these books. I'm gonna have to catch up. I haven't read the GI Joe one or the Scarlet one. Oh wow, that's pretty cool though.
Yeah, it's one of the Kotobukiya.
Looks more like Storm Shadow than Snake Eyes though.
So there's two different versions. There's one with the black outfit. Of course,
got it.
I had to be the one who got the white outfit with the Cobra.
Of course.
She started out as Cobra and defected.
I see. Okay.
She was brainwashed. I bought way too many statues. Not that you know anything about that. Yeah, and it's weird because we have Storm Shadow. Storm Shadow showed up in Scarlet, so the ninjas have appeared, but no Snake Eyes.
No Snake Eyes yet. Okay. Maybe later. Fine.
I think it's best they hold out. But if you're interested in reading from the old series, one of the greatest Snake Eyes issues was an entirely
the silent issue.
It's also one of the most expensive issues.
I think that is the one issue that from G.I. Joe that everybody wants. Even the people that don't collect G.I. Joe want that issue.
There's also his origin, which was also like horrible. Like everything about him is tragic.
Like that movie that came out that was really, really tragic.
Which one?
The Snake Eyes movie that came out.
I never saw it.
Oh my god! Oh my! I tried. I legit tried to watch it. I tried watching it 2 times. 2 times I tried, and both times I got distracted by literally anything else around me. It's like I'm watching the movie, and so you go like, "Ooh, I have snacks here," and then just walk away and forget about the movie.
And then the guy who played him, or maybe he played Storm Shadow, was in that Mortal Kombat movie.
Oh, that's right. Yes, that was a cool movie,
Yeah.
though. I like that
It
Mortal
was
Kombat
cool,
movie.
except for the main guy, the generic. I got plot armor. Literally.
Literally has blood armor. He has so much blood armor that his power is an armor.
But Jean-Claude Van Damme not playing Johnny Cage is outrageous.
Nah, he's too old for it now, man.
I know, but I think that's what would make it interesting, because to be an aging martial arts star.
I mean, you can play with him on the latest Mortal Kombat game.
They
You
call
can
him
play
washed
with
out.
Johnny Cage as Van Damme, and he has the voice and everything. It's
also,
a little bit weird, honestly.
How does that series not have Sho'nuff from Last Dragon in there?
Oh my god, right?
Characters,
right?
Or Tekken. Like,
I think that Sho'nuff would be better as a Tekken character.
Probably.
Than a
Kiss
Mortal
my
Kombat
well, except for
character.
his fatality, he was like, kiss my Converse.
Yeah, that could be a fatal. Man.
Yep. I thought we were talking about that at work with one of the guys who sometimes will be in our chat. I was like, yeah, like why did that have a fighting game with Sho'nuff as a DLC character? He's like, well, these are characters. I was like, you know what? You're right.
And we need to write a letter.
Yeah. This book is a buy for me.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. I want to buy the second volume and continue reading it.
But there isn't a second volume.
No, there isn't. That's it.
Nope.
That was it. There's not a second volume. This is it.
No, it's a segue. All of these books are segues into G.I. Joe.
Oh my god.
That's it.
So Transformer has a second volume, because I did read a second volume for Transformers.
Yeah, so Transformers does, but the G.I. Joe books are minis. So it's Cobra Commander.
I mean, I guess that's honestly better, honestly.
Yeah. So it goes Cobra Commander, Duke goes into Destro, and then Scarlet, then G.I. Joe.
And then G.I. Joe. Got it. It's like the
Which
road to
bold
G.I.
move
Joe.
to put Baroness on the Joe team.
What?
Some of the best variant covers right now all have Baroness.
Oh my god. Of course.
I got a
Of course.
9.8. I got a CGC one that one of the comic, I think it was a Shannon Mayer variant or Natalie Sanders. It was one of them, but I
need to see that. You have to send me a picture later when you have a chance.
I think I posted on Instagram, but yeah, I'll send you a picture.
Yeah.
But man, it's a beaut.
Of course.
But definitely a big time read for me. By far, this was probably one of the more enjoyable, but it's a different because it's so mean spirited. But it's mean spirited with, like, Cobra Commander is fucking having fun in this book.
Oh yeah, he's having the time of his life. He knows what he's doing. You know, he has a plan and it's working. Even though when you think it's not going to work, it's working.
But he's still kind of a fuck up though, which I kind of love. It's the same thing, and the fact that like Starscream and him have the same voice actor doing the same voice from the cartoons is amazing.
Really?
Yes.
How did I not put those two and two together when they sound so similar? You're absolutely right. Wow. How did I not know that?
It's one of those things because you listen to them and you're like, it's the same guy.
It's the same guy, of course. Now it's in my head. Yeah, of course he's the same guy.
And you know, Starscream's the best whiny villain. Although I have to say, in the comic book, he's not as much of a bitch.
No. That is
still
true.
Underhanded, but he's not a bitch.
That is true. I like how they handle these characters on these books. So one of the things that I have issues with going back and reading this, I really don't like how this drawing is coming along, but it's okay. One of the things that I'm having trouble with, that I had trouble with, is going back and reading and watching these old cartoons, is that they're cartoons, you know? They're sort of they're not sort of, they're childish, you know, they're childish, and some of them don't age that well. Like
But then watch
example of
GI
that is,
Joe, watch GI Joe the animated motion picture, and then watch the Transformers animated movie. Their
yeah,
violent is all fuck. They're
yes,
not
but
kids.
yeah, but you know, that's those are different products than you know, the
Oh yeah,
majority of it. You know, that those are just two not standalone movies, but those are just two specific projects that, you know, they had to step up their quality because they had more budget, obviously. But what I was saying is that, you know, these characters, these old cartoons are you know, were meant for kids, and watching them now, it's like, okay, I have to keep in mind that it's, you know, they're made for kids. And when I was about to read these books, that's what was putting me back, is I hope it's not too childish, you know. It's not that it's so wrapped in the nostalgia of it, and make it
oh,
uh,
I found it.
a parody of what it was,
You'll be joining us soon. A band of violence will soon. With an iron fist and a reptile, yes, we shall rule.
That's it.
We try the worst, even if it
Oh my god.
Guys, worst fucking episode ever. It's so bad.
I'm gonna have to look that episode up. I want to have to look it up because I want to see it now.
It was almost Spinal Tap for anybody who's seen that movie.
Oh my god, Spinal Tap. Okay, so yeah, let's definitely gonna watch that. That I'm gonna look that up. I'm gonna change
But like
the boots here.
hidden in this 1986 cartoon. I think it was 1986, maybe 87. But yeah, anyway, it was in that wheelhouse.
I think it was 86, 87.
Yeah, because the cartoon started in 85.
Like both years. Yeah.
And I was a very sentient young man at that point. I don't think I was collecting comics yet, but I was on my way.
No, I wasn't collecting comics. No, I wasn't collecting comics yet. I started collecting comics like maybe a year after like around 88. I had one
1986 heavily.
Yeah, I had one comic book, just that one Spider-Man comic book with the Vulture in it, and it has the original Vulture and another one, a younger version. And
I remember that issue.
Yeah, and I actually found that copy when I moved here. I found that copy of that book and I bought it because of course,
the memory.
Yeah, that's it. That's all I had. That one Spider-Man book, but it was like maybe a year later or two, 89, I would say, that when I started to get interested in getting comics, and it was whatever comics I could get, because we would go to the local pharmacy and they didn't have that. You didn't get Action Comics. You don't get an Action Comics every month at the pharmacy. You get an Action Comic this month. Next month you get some Marvel Team Up. Next month you get a Guardians of the Galaxy. So it's whatever book I was able to grab my hands on. That's
7-Eleven got all the X books every month, so I was set.
Beautiful.
And then we get Teen Titans and Batman. That was the extent of DC.
I didn't start reading X-Men until I was in middle school. Damn.
Yeah, I think you have to be older to understand X-Men, because there's a lot of shit that happened in that book that was just like, so what are they saying?
That's true.
Right now?
That's true.
But
I think I would have enjoyed it, even if I wouldn't have been able to read, read into it. I think I would have enjoyed it anyways.
The first 5 issues I got, a genocide happened during it. So like
oh yeah.
By the 3rd issue, the mutant massacre happened in the tunnels. And I'm like, who the fuck are all these people that just died? And I'm like, Mom, I think they're killing the homeless. They're living under the subway in the sewers. And my mom's like, what are you reading again? I was like, X-Men.
X-Men.
And she's like, let me see that. She's like, wow. someone just got, the guy with the angel wings just got crucified. That's biblical. This is things that happened in that book. Like,
it's wild the things that we read back then, right?
I'm 9 or 10 years old, just going, well, that character's out of the book. That character's out of the book.
Or so you thought.
Colossus, Kitty Pryde, and Rachel Gray, all gone in the first 4 issues. I was reading a superpowered book where one of the members of the X-Men had no powers. That's after Storm lost her wind abilities.
Oh yes,
she was just a punk rock mohawk girl with a knife.
I like that look on her.
Oh, I love the look, but it was just like she was queen of the sewers, and with no powers, she beat Cyclops because Cyclops sucks.
Because Cyclops sucks.
He does. So
Cyclops doesn't suck that much.
He's just
enough. He sucks just enough.
So he is that young Republican neighbor that you kind of like, and then he says something douchey, and you close the door and stop inviting him over for a month. He's got a lot of weird thoughts on Instagram or Twitter, and you're like, huh. But then he has the hot wife, and then you find out he's got the side chick who is an S&M.
Right.
And you start questioning, like, what's
going
on that? Yeah, like, it's got the hot redhead, but he was also married before and replaced the redhead with a look-alike redhead. But his kid went away too, and I don't know what happened to the kid and the other wife.
They're gone now.
But I don't know. Now he's got this alabaster skin blonde chick with where's Boustier's coming over. I don't know what to think about this. But I'll gladly come over to a party to see what's going on.
You know, I'm reading some of the comments, and Sebastian mentions that Carl Urban looks too old to be playing Johnny Cage. I agree. He looks a little bit, on the picture that I saw the other day, he does look a little bit run down to be playing Johnny Cage. I agree.
And I'm going to say what the greatest sin in all of film is. We didn't get a Dread Part 2.
We haven't gotten a Dread Part 2. I agree. That sucks.
There won't be. And that movie was fucking perfect for Dread.
I love that movie, man.
So good. And I may have a crush on Olivia Thirlby, who played Judge Anderson. So I have a possibility of 3 different books for next month.
Yes? What are you thinking?
So I have an indie book pick that's a little emotional.
Mm-hmm.
I have a superhero schlock book from the 80s. And a book that I think can contend with Watchmen that's also from the 80s.
What are the name of these books?
So one of them, this is the indie book, is Pulp by Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips. It's a very skinny book. It is an OGN. And it is about a pulp writer who was a cowboy, and now it's in the 1920s, and he's being hunted by the Nazis.
Oh, okay.
Then we have one that's probably near and dear to us. We've joked about doing it before.
Oh, but that one.
It's a big boy.
It's a big boy. It's a lot. That one takes a lot to cover.
Yeah, that's.
I think it's too much for the second episode.
Well, the other one might be too much too.
Yeah, which one's the other
but
one?
I think I gave you a copy of it when I flipped out a couple of years ago. Squadron Supreme.
I have I don't think I have Squadron Supreme.
Okay, because either you got that or Natalie did. Someone got it. I didn't have it anymore.
I think the trade that I got from Squadron Supreme, I got it in a sale in one of our local stores at some point.
Oh.
But I don't know which one. I don't know which one it is. I don't think it's Vol.1. I think it's one of those things that I got because it was like buy one get two free or something like that. And I was also very big into wasting money.
Was it Death of a Universe? What the fuck? Maybe I don't have it anymore. Shit.
The Squadron Supreme one?
Apparently I don't have it anymore either, even on digital. Never mind.
You know what? I vote for reading the Squadron Supreme because I've never read Squadron Supreme before.
I swear I have that on digital.
So it'll be cool. It'll be cool to visit this. Get introduced to these characters that I know absolutely nothing about.
So it's also a crazy ass thing because I'll have to get the digital, get it from the Amazon. I thought I had it already, but if Watchmen didn't exist, I think that book would have been bigger.
You think so?
Yes.
Huh.
Because it is almost as dark. I would say there's things heavier in this book than Watchmen. Like,
I'm gonna have to check it out. Definitely gonna have to check it out. So I would say that let's go with that one.
One of the big things about it is the series starts with them having been on Earth 616 helping the Avengers. They got trapped here and they come back and find out that their world's been taken over by the Serpent Crown and this character Overmind. So they managed to get their world back and they're like, everything's fucked up. We might need to take over and become the government.
What? Just like that.
So they create this thing called the Utopia program where they took villains and caught them and brainwashed them to become members of society. And one of their members quits. He's like, I'm not okay with any of this. They took away all the guns and they're using these gas pills called pacifier guns. And it's one of those like books. It's so dark, but it's the heroes deciding to become the government and take over the world.
Yeah, we're definitely reading that.
I think you'd enjoy it. I don't think it's as nihilistic as Watchmen, but it's good. Mark Grunwald and Paul Neary and Paul Smith are all on the artists for it.
Yeah,
and so underrated.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about the book, but I've never actually said.
It's probably me just ranting drunk, going, "Why does nobody read this book?" It's. I think you'll enjoy it, especially it ties into Avengers and Captain America and all this stuff, and Nighthawk, since he's kind of like Timu Batman.
Timu Batman, Jesus Christ.
A little bit, rich guy. He's a bird, not a bat.
But it's basically the same idea.
Kind of. I mean, everybody in the Squadron Supreme are basically the Justice League.
Yeah.
I mean, the Wizards, the Flash, or it became Speed Demon, Hyperion, Superman, Power Princess.
Yeah, that one's kind of obvious. Hyperion,
and then
Superman.
Dr. Spectrum, who has one of the coolest costumes, is Green Lantern, basically. I always like Dr. Spectrum's mask. But all right, well, we're doing Squadron Supreme.
We're doing Squadron Supreme next time. Yes, most definitely.
Gonna have to block out 2 hours for that one. That's a big boy. It's not
think
Crisis
so?
big. It's 12 issues.
Okay. Well, is Crisis big? Because Crisis is 12 issues.
But Crisis every issue was a double issue.
That is true.
I don't know if you remember, but like
I did not
every
remember
issue
that.
is double sized.
Yeah. It's a big book. Yes, it is a big book.
I think it takes me in one sitting 4 hours to read through Crisis. Roughly.
Jesus.
And that's if I don't get like lost in George Perez art going, how the fuck did he get so many characters on one panel? Holy shit.
That's his magic, man.
I mean, his covers, and I'll give it credit because I think it was the New 52 Justice League. Phil Jimenez did one of those covers where he squeezed, I want to say, about 70 characters on the cover.
Something like that, yes.
Yeah, it was impressive, and that was his. I love George Perez, and I'm trying to do George Perez, and
but it was he took a lot from George. You know, I think he mentored him.
Yes.
Like I think George mentored him at some point.
He was very supportive of him, and again, you know, him being a Latino artist, also who patterned himself after George. Because, I mean, I don't know if people realize how influential George was to that community of artists coming over from Puerto Rico and from Latin America, because
to a lot of them, to everyone, I would say, not just
him
Latin
and Jorge or George Garcia Lopez was another one that, you know, hugely influential.
Oh yeah. I mean, for the longest time, that was my image of these characters. When I think about these characters, those were the images that came to my head. You know,
I love that you were able to color this so fast. It would have taken me fucking forever.
I mean, this is just a really quick sketch to block out the colors that I want to use. At the end, later on, I will.
And it'll be posted on Gambit's Instagram later.
Yeah, I'll put it on my Gambit Instagram page and probably my website. My website first, and then at the Instagram. This is just a sketch. Later on, I'll go and ink it properly so it doesn't look all that sketchy and color it. I'm thinking I'm going to color it. Lately, I've been coloring my art like if it was a 1960s. Horror comic and stuff like let me show you here real quick, like in halftones and using, you know, I shouldn't say very old, but it is very old at this point, method of coloring like if it was an old comic book, you know. So this is probably what I end up doing with that Cobra Commander drawing.
Yeah, the pages of One Punch Man, and I've done a couple of pages of Chainsaw Man, because it's very easy to get the colors to use from taking pages and ripping the color palette out from some of the covers. I go so fine into the details, trying to like blow up the part so I can just get in there real tight. But the One Punch Man ones have been the most fun.
That I just nothing. I'll tell you later.
Oh. The One Punch Man ones were like the most fun for me to color.
Send me those pictures later. I want to see them.
I think I posted them before.
Oh yeah, Jesus, I need to. I'm not spending time on social media anymore, man.
I work so much, and to be honest, after the things that have gone on the last few months, I've kind of been very detached. I'll dump stuff and not engage and just go away for a while.
That's exactly what I'm doing. I just posting stuff, I post something on my story and I put it down, and that's it. I'm done for it until I post something else.
More impressive, we hit the hour and a half mark and we're pretty much done.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be Squadron Supreme. It is, I think it's just called Squadron Supreme. But I'll send you the Amazon link.
Yeah.
And thank you, everybody who came in and watched. And we'll see you next month, third week
Next
of the month.
the third week of the month.
Third week. Take care, everybody, and buy this book.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. I highly recommend it. I legit recommend if you like, if you want to read.
Actually, check out the whole Energon universe.
Yes, legit. You want to get into these characters. You're familiar with these characters, but never read anything of these characters. Any of them are actually good starting points. Honestly.
Void Rivals, Transformers, Cobra Commander, Duke, Destro, Scarlet, G.I. Joe.
Holy shit, it's already damn.
Yes.
Oh God. Wow.
And they all interlink into one another.
Yeah.
You want ninjas? Scarlet. You want cat and mouse games? Destro. You want a revenge story? Duke. You want to see Daniel Warren Johnson go crazy on some fucking robots?
Oh my God, that first trade of Transformer was
it's amazing.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much. Sorry.
Check out Do a Power Bomb by him. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I recommend that one. Every time someone asks me, "Hey, what should I read right now?" I recommend that's one of the books that I recommend.
But thank you, everybody, and we'll see you next month. Bye.
Bye.